It all feels so wrong to me, Day. I wish you could read my mind right now. You're a very good mother and and a very good wife. The way you take care of me when I was sick, just a thank you cannot be enough to it. At some point of time, I felt guilty that I married you. I had the same responsibility toward you, and I never made you think the same for me. Who told you, Jungkook? Who said that you're not a good husband, a good partner? You are. You married me and gave me a good family, which I never had. You gave me a friend. You protected me from UG. You cared of me whenever it was needed. You uplifted my mood every time I felt stressed. What else a wife asked for? I said, and he was staring into my eyes deeply. And what about last night behavior? I spent so many days doing good things, making my impression good in front of you. But one night ruined everything. I smiled lightly. Everyone deserves a second chance. I'm not angry with you anymore. You can relax now. I murmured. Speak the truth. You're happy with me, Dave? He asked and I nodded my head. More than happy. You gave me the biggest gift of joy. My life. Jungkook. I replied while adoring my baby. Jungkook smiled. No sleep. Don't you have to go to office tomorrow? I said. Hmm. How will you live here alone? Jungkook questioned. I inhaled and thought for a second. Drop me home before you leave for office. I replied. Are you sure? I mean, I can take a leave if you want to stay more. I'm sure. Jungkook. He smiled and I smiled back. He closed his eyes and I keep on adoring them, both, until I fell asleep. Thank God they forgave me. Otherwise, I would have never able to forgive myself. I'm really happy that I take step toward us and decide to give our relationship a chance. I don't know whatever I bring something to us or not, but at this point of time, what matters the most to me is my family happiness. And they too is a part of my family. He's a sweet boy. He's kind and very responsible. But since and I have come to know that he feels for me in a different way, I feel different around him. Although I'm trying my best to be nice in front of him, to make him happy, but I really don't know where his feelings will lead him. I'm really afraid that it doesn't end up being broken at last. And if this happened, I'll end up being the culprit here. I saw Tay opening his eyes slowly. They turned, his body toward me, and our eyes met. He murmured in a lazy voice, Good morning, Cook. I don't know why, but every time they call me Cook, it all feels so different. It reminds me of my responsibility toward him, which I'm quite unaware of, whether I'm fulfilling them or not. Good morning, Tay. I reply in a low voice. They close his eyes again, my eyes still, scanning his feature. A few strands of his brown hair hanging on his face. His eyelashes were rested peacefully on his cheeks. My heart started racing when my eyes fell on the baby pink color lips, and I immediately moved back, my eyes away. I saw my baby sleeping peacefully, feeling the warmth of his mother, as they on one hand was carrying him, and Jungkook was sleeping in his embrace. Suddenly my alarm rang, and they opened his eyes again. I sat up immediately and switched the alarm off. Sorry, I murmured, and they sat up in his place. He rubbed his eyes and slowly stood up for the bed, only to disappear inside the washroom. I laid back on the bed beside Jungkook. I was adoring him when Taehyung phoned to flash a message. My eyes shifted toward his phone, but couldn't read the message. I just saw the sender name. I rolled my eyes and shifted my eyes back to my son. I don't know why, but I wanted to wake him up. I wanted to play with him, and I knowledgeably shifted myself closer to him and muttered in his ear, "Get us, son. See, Appa is here." He didn't respond to me. I again mumbled in his ear, "Please get up, baby. Appa want to play with you, with his friends." He moved a bit in his sleep, but his eyes were still closed. My mind ran, and I started tickling him. Gurk went one in his sleep, but he didn't wake up. Now I sat up on the bed and picked him up in my arms. I started kissing him and shaking him slowly to wake him up. After a few minutes, he opened his eyes and double the speed. He started crying too. I tried to console Gurk and immediately regretting my decision. He was crying his lungs out. I stood up and started roaming around the house to make him stop crying, but he wasn't listening. He was crying out loudly. I patted his back, but he has no effect. The door of the washroom opened after 5 minutes, and they ran out of it. They took Jungkook in his arm immediately and started scolding me. "What have you done, Jungkook? Why did you wake him up? I'm not ready yet, and you woke him up." They spoke in a loud voice. My eyes gazed at Day from head to toe. Seems like he had just taken a bath and was in his fresh dress. The hair was wet. As they turned back, my eyes noticed his bag. It didn't even zip up, but was also undone. I shook my head and looked away from Day. Jungkook was still crying. Suddenly I saw Taehyung picked up Jungkook, milk bottle from the table, and move outside from the room. My eyes again went to his undone button. I remembered about his brother-in-law, and I stopped him immediately. "Where are you going?" I asked Day and came in front of him. "Kitchen. His bottle isn't filled." He replied. "I'll bring it. Give it to me." I argued, but Tej replied, "How will you bring it? You're not in your home." They said, gritted his teeth in irritation, and whisper yelled at me, "Why did you wake him up? You're so bad, Jungkook." I just chuckled seeing his expression, and he muttered, "Stop laughing now." They started moving out again, but it was feeling so odd to ask him to stay back and zip up his shirt. But I started follow behind Tay. I followed Tay all the way to the kitchen. I stood there holding her until he filled his milk inside the bottle. They took Cook back in his arm and started walking back to his room. But as he stepped outside, my eyes fell on Yuji, who was sitting in the hall. I cannot stop myself anymore. I stopped there and asked him to turn back. They turned back slowly, with confused eyes, and while looking in different direction, I tied his shirt, trying not to touch his skin. They was taken aback by my action and muttered a thank you to me. We walked back inside the room and made Tae and Cook to lay in his lap. We made him drink the milk, and slowly he drifted back into sleep. When the surrounding being quiet, I said, "Sorry, I just want to play with him a little." They first looked at me seriously, then his lips curved into a smile, and he replied, "You're such a child." I heard his comment and he laughed. After I got ready, we took the blessing of his aunt and then left for his house. All the way, we were silent, but I was happy inside that this time I was taking my wife home. We reached home at morning. Everyone was already awake and were sitting in the hall. As I stepped inside, Janelle ran toward me and hugged me tightly first.